Yes. African Fight Fam. Boom, here we are. Today we're not doing solo intros. I'm just going to ramble and then you get along with it. First of all, apologies. We were not live last week. Well, life happened. But yes, that means that we missed some couple of news. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start introducing from my left. Looks like Toby has good internet connection. Well, it's Toby Aderemi. I've already introduced. Toby, what's up?
I'm good, guys. Welcome back again. Let's get this podcast started. Let's go.
Toby, get positive energy today. Bring the ginger. I love to see it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to my right, he's a very righteous man. Ladies and gentlemen, Yoruba Demon, President Israel Adesanya Fan Club, King Dems, Demola. What's up, Dems?
Hello, everybody. Let's get this party started. Let's get ready to rumble.
All right, you might be shy, but I'm just going to help you do the plug here. Demola has a new podcast, guys. It's called King Dems Podcast. Actually, go to his Instagram and every link you need will be there, all the details, and we'll plug it some more in the end. Yes, if you are in the comment section, please feel free to chime in. We got Norizuka 99K already in here. Demola, this name sounds like someone that is coming from your clan. Is this somebody you know, Demola?
Nah, no way. No way. Norizuka.
Shout out to Norizuka. Thank you for tuning with us. All right, guys. Last week was a crazy week, right? When we decided that we were not going to be live last week, then all of a sudden, boom, we heard that Dricus du Plessis is going to indeed fight for the UFC middleweight title against Sean Strickland, and that is in January. Ladies and gentlemen, this is massive for African MMA. You guys have no idea how stoked I am about this. But before you hear my opinions about this fight or all the angles that we're going to discuss, I want to ask Toby first. Toby, what was your first thoughts when you heard about this fight announcement?
I was excited. I can't even lie. Like, I cannot wait for this fight. If you follow our social media, you'll have been seeing that, Dricus has been highlighting some one or two posts. When we posted that, he has better boxing than Strickland, my guy was liking it, was feeling. I'm like, yo, Dricus is ready. Let's go. But this one is going to be mad. I swear, like, Strickland is. I don't want to. Well, whatever I did with Adesanya in that octagon, it's going to have the entirely opposite, coming his way in Dricus, because Dricus is not going to try and be technical and all of that. Dricus is ready to ball. Dricus is going to get in there with you. Let's go. So I'm really excited that Dricus got his opportunity, though. Yeah. Before I ramble too much.
Well, if you are a loyalist of this show, we already know that Toby is not the biggest fan of Dricus du Plessis. We already know that. So, Toby, are you in your hearts of hearts happy about this? Okay, I believe you.
Better Dricus than Strickland. I mean, Strickland is the worst champion in the history of all the shit he has been talking about, the women MMA division. I'm like, somebody just beat this guy and let him not be relevant anymore. Like,
well, I'm going to tell you guys what I feel about this fight, but I want to take the Demola's perspective first. Demola, I know Demola is going to start acting like an oracle and start telling us, I told you. So Demola, this is your chance. What have you told us?
Okay. I'm actually happy for Dricus. I am happy for Dricus because I was one of those people who were criticizing him for not taking that title shot, right? When he wasn't ready. But apparently life happens, and what would be a destiny would be a destiny. So I'm very positive about his chances against Strickland. See what he did to Whittaker? I think it's going to be a part 2 of that movie. And, shout out to him. And let's see how... I'm excited to see how things unfold. Dricus taking the title, and then who is going to be the next challenger for that title. You kind of write the script.
All right. I know where you are headed, but before I react to that, we've got Norizuka here. Norizuka seems to be riding with us today. He says, or she says, or they say, because this day you have to be gender appropriate. I am not a fan of Dricus as well, but I feel like he's well-rounded fighter compared to awkward Strickland. Well, I feel like Dricus is more awkward than Strickland, because Strickland, you know what you are getting with that his Philly boxing they call it, but you know what he's going to do. But Dricus, when you watch Dricus, he's one of the most orthodox and not very eye-pleasing type of fighter that is extremely effective and he packs power in his hands. But that's me reacting to Norizuka. But regardless, I'm going to tell you guys why I feel. So everybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge pro wrestling mark. That means that I am a fan of storytelling. That is one. Two, I'm a fan of African MMA, hence the African Fighters podcast. But when storyline comes with MMA and then gets involved with Africa, that's my bread and butter. Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya is every African fight fan wet dream. Because
No.
first of all, I am Nigerian, right? I am Nigerian. Even when that fight happens, you obviously know who I would support. But right now, I religiously want Dricus to win. And I don't think it's not just me. I think even the UFC wants Dricus to win because he is a better company man than Strickland is. And I think potentially Dricus winning that title opens more market for the UFC in Africa because now when Dricus wins, he's going to explode. That he has not exploded already in South Africa. His popularity will be big enough for him to carry a fight card or a pay-per-view in South Africa. So with that reason, I think I am on board. And also, Dricus has been kind enough to give us an interview before, so we've known Dricus just one fight into the UFC. We've been on this guy's meat. But shout out to Dricus, shout out to all the South Africans following us. uh, this is something we love to see. Is there any talking points with this fight that you want to bring up, Toby? All right, Toby is frozen. How about you, Demola?
With Strickland versus Dricus, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I think I'm like really excited, and like you guys said earlier, right? Um, you said something about Strickland not being a company man. I think he is a company man, but then he is not uh, a politically correct champion. You know,
That's
there are
that's that's what I mean.
expectations
That's what I
there are
mean. That's what
expectations
I
you have
mean.
of a champion, right? And then the
Mhm.
kind of controversial things that he keeps saying and keeps doing. Nah, it's not a good look into
He's
the eye, right?
it's not a good look. He says he's going to try to be like the proper
Yeah,
company man,
yeah,
blah blah blah. But
it's
we
not.
know we know he can't. Um, but again, we wrote him off against Easy. I guess maybe to be honest, not just me, you, everybody's going to write him off again now against Dricus. And I believe if he comes and wins this fight and surprises us,
He
then
will be
okay,
the
then I
biggest
believe that will be
villain.
high.
He will be
That's
the
the
biggest
high time.
villain
That's the high time that we'll stop
in
writing him
UFC
off. But
history.
Toby, you seem you are back now. Can you hear me? Okay, great.
Yep.
Do you have any other talking points you want to touch with regards to Dricus?
Now
Oh, I'm
Dricus is going to
struggling.
win. I believe. Let's go.
All right. When the fight gets closer, obviously we have lots of time to break down the fight and have some technical analysis in
Okay.
there,
I
going
don't
in
think they
there.
can.
So yeah. So we are going to move next to what happened last night. All right. UFC in Madison Square Garden. I swear I cannot remember the number. 290 something.
295.
Um, 295. Madison
It's right
MSG
there.
main
All
event
right.
for the vacant light heavyweight title. Alex Pereira versus Giri Prohaska. A lot of talking points coming out of that fight, but what we are most interested in is the fact that after that fight, Alex Pereira, in his native Portuguese language, he started explaining that he was sitting in a bar when he actually saw uh Easy talking shit about him, saying that he's going to get wasted, talent is wasting in a bar. He shouldn't be wasting his talent or blah 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 blah. He just made a remark, and Alex felt that was the spark that he needed. That's when he decided to come to the UFC to switch into MMA and take this shit serious. And look at him now. 7 fights into the UFC, he's already a 2 division champion. 7 fights into the UFC, he has main evented Madison Square Garden twice. And right now we are looking at him being one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, if not the greatest when it comes to like dominating your field, your discipline, and crossing over. I feel like a lot of people are looking past him, are not taking this serious. What's going on in front of our eyes? Lost we lost Toby there. Um, but let's take your reaction first about the fight. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. Let's talk about the ending of that fight. Sorry, Yuri Prohaska versus Alex Pereira. Do you think that was an early stoppage, please?
Yeah, I was one of those people who, you know, was shouting. I actually have some sort of beef against McGoddard, right, the referee,
Mm-hmm.
because he's had, he has made some controversial calls against fighters that I have backed in the past. Out Adesanya, right, early stoppage in that Pereira fight, the first Pereira fight. Aljamain Sterling against what's his name, the guy with the rainbow colored hair, right? That was another early stoppage, and then this is a hat trick of early stoppages again, right? Come on, championship fights have very heavy value at stake, right? You have to give, especially the champion, you have to give the champion the benefit of doubt, right? You have to give, the contender as well benefit of doubt. You don't just step in, right? You need to keep your calm,
Mm-hmm.
your cool as a referee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, and also I think I sort of have a bias because I faded Pereira. He would see me on Instagram saying that I think Jiri would actually win. So I think in a way I was kind of biased because I was backing Jiri to win. But big up to Pereira. He did what he had to do. But I
Um,
strongly believe that that was an early stoppage. That was an early
I
stoppage.
think I think the reason why people calmed down was because Jiri Prohaska came out and said, "Oh, I was out of the fight. That it wasn't an early stoppage." I think he was just trying to be like a proper mixed martial artist with
Well,
all
what
the
would you
respect and
what do you expect him to say?
never question the officials.
He
But the
said
thing
the
is,
same thing in
it
the
looked
Reyes fight. In the Reyes fight, he was out, but he
it,
came back to knockout
every
win.
every fighter well, my point is every fighter knows that at some point in a fight you probably will get rocked, but you would still stay in it and you need a chance to get back into it. I actually believe that there is still more from that fight. Pereira didn't get to do some ground and pound. He was just throwing some elbows, although the elbows were landing, but he wasn't he wasn't out of it. He was still holding for that single leg that he was holding Jiri. But anyways, Jiri Prohaska has already ended the debate for us. We don't have to go all through for it. Before I continue, I'm just gonna give a shout out in the comment section. We've got Martin Theron says DDP brings the belt to Pretoria. Yes, yes, we are all here for it. Adesanya lives rent free in Pereira's head.
Cringe.
Uh, and Themba, the answer, Gorimbo, our brother, Big Themba. Well done, sir. He says that I love the post fight from Alex. He's a good man for saying that. Not selfish. I want to have easy back. Also, smart way to get that pay per view money. People will buy to see him versus Easy than versus Hill. Yep.
Definitely.
And I think that Easy posting that on Instagram or Twitter it is, I feel like he's going to send him a DM and congratulate him regardless. I mean, Easy posted like, "Oh, Elsa, blah blah blah." It's all for the selling a fight, right? It's all making money, trying to sell that PPV. But I believe those guys are in the DM saying, "Congratulations, man, blah blah blah. Can't wait to see you," or whatever
You
fighters
know
say
what?
to each other.
Their destinies are intertwined, whether they like it or not. Both
Yeah.
of them. Come on, it's
Norizuka says not an early stoppage for me. Well, I disagree. And Demron says I think DDP will take the belt to South Africa where it belongs. Yep. Would love to see that. Does it belong there though? But yeah, bring the belts to Africa. When it comes to Africa, then we'll start talking about the countries that where it's going to go.
Don't worry, it's
Um,
actually going to be like a seasonal movie because DDP is going to
yeah.
take that belt back to Africa, and
Let's let's stay
a
let's let
certain
let's
man
stay
is
let's
going
stay
to
on
take
this
it again. Leave
let's
it.
stay on this let's stay on this Adesanya topic. All right, so Pereira called out Adesanya, right? And we already saw Adesanya's response. However, Jamal Hill has been promised a title fight because he vacated the title due to injury. So Dana White has already said it in the press conference, and even in the octagon after Pereira called out Adesanya, um, the guy holding the mic, who was it? Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan did say, "You will fight Jamal Hill next." Jamal Hill was standing there waiting to I don't know. They probably should have put him in the cage. That
He
would be
was
a good
beating his
look for the
chest. He's not
promo.
fit. That's the funny thing. He's actually not
Mm.
fit yet, and I wonder why he was beating his chest. Like he's going to be able to fight immediately. Let him get himself sorted before trying to
Well,
make him to the
well,
belt.
to be honest, Alex Pereira has fought 3 times this year. It is unheard of. 3 times this year. This year alone, he won a title. This year alone. Oh
He
no.
lost
Okay,
the title.
this year he lost the title first. Then he fought Jan Blachowicz to qualify for number one contender to fight uh for the light heavyweight title. So he has fought 3 times already. I think he deserves a break, and I'm sure he's making a lot of money right now. He bought himself one of these flashy sport cars. He's only going to be his money is only piling up now. All
Stashing
right,
it.
all right. I would like us to finish this podcast in record time. All right, let's talk about the co-main. Yeah, we saw an interim title fight for the heavyweight division. Um, to me, I don't think this make a lot of sense. However, fans of boxing would disagree. Fans of boxing have seen people defend interim titles many times. Fans of boxing have seen people vacate interim titles, which is crazy. So, we are seeing it in the UFC heavyweights. Now Tom Aspinall, the third British champion, I am sure when he gets back to Heathrow, probably tomorrow or next tomorrow, it's going to be crazy. Just watch out for social media. You would see a lot of people would come and meet him at the airport singing and drinking beer. Uh, Shout out to Tom Aspinall versus Sergey. But what was your thought? Did this fight turn out what you thought it was going to be? Did you think Sergey was going to win, or did you give it to Tom Aspinall going into the fight?
I'm a British by heart, so I gave it to Tom. And aside from being British by heart, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think Tom Aspinall is actually the better, well-rounded fighter. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, it was a no-brainer. And when you look at the statistics, right, both of them have an average of 2 minutes plus.
Mm-hmm.
Average time in their fights over like the past 5 fights. So what would you expect? Statistically, you would want to follow the trend. And to circle back to what we were saying previously about the interim title, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
UFC, we've seen people defend interim titles. Tony Ferguson, the other time, defended his
Mm-hmm.
interim title against Justin Gaethje. So it's not going to be the first
Mm-hmm.
time we will see somebody defending an interim title in the UFC. So it does make sense to me. It might not make sense to some other people, but it does make sense.
Yeah. Let me just take it back a bit. Temba has made mention. He used facts here. He said he will fight Jamal in May or June. The first 4 pay-per-view of next year are already booked anyway, still April. Yeah, April. I think the only one that isn't booked is 300 yet. So I think
300
300 is the next
will
one.
be in April.
So that's always a big one. I don't think I don't think they would be on that one. I think that 300 already has McGregor name written on it and probably Sugar Sean O'Malley and Cheat. Oh, no, 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 no. Chito
Sugar Shot
Vera and
is
Sugar Sean
299.
has already been announced. So if it has Conor McGregor on it, I don't think there'll be any title fights. It's just going to be like dream matches on there, I think. Um, let's go. So, yeah, Tom Aspinall, really, really happy for that guy. I don't think, well, Dana White has already mentioned that we are going to definitely, definitely see John Jones versus Miocic. One of my, one of the things that I did not like about the heavyweight in the past couple of years was Miocic as champion and how slow he is fighting. Obviously, he's up there in age, maybe not as active as he used to be. Uh, but if you look at a potential John Jones versus Aspinall fight, what do you think will happen?
I don't think that fight will ever happen. So this is what I think. This is what my take. This is my prediction, my projection. Right? John Jones versus Stipe happens. Whoever wins that fight runs into the sunset of a retirement, and leaves the title.
You know why I think that's not going to be the case. I think John Jones leaving the UFC right now in the heavyweight division right now, I feel like he's leaving a lot of money on the table. He has not made enough money. When he was being John Jones, when he was a baller, UFC was not in the money that they are right now. So I feel like if he leaves, he should stick around for like 3 more fights if he wins that fight. I think even his financial advisor will probably tell him the same thing, unless he wants to go and start doing celebrity boxing. But I feel he shouldn't. I understand if Miocic would retire after the fight, win or lose. Uh, but I'm sure he would want to retire on top.
So the thing is this,
Uh,
right? The thing is this: he has a legacy to protect. Remember, he's undefeated in the UFC, right? And
yeah. But who
fighting the top
undefeated here, bro?
Aspinall,
Who
fighting the top Aspinall is
I think
Irish.
something about that is I feel like if he retires now and the money finish, right? And then he looks back in his when he's old and he can't do it anymore. I feel like he's going to regret that he didn't stay because he just felt that he needed to protect.
They're
A
also going to
loss is
make
not going
money.
to, at this point, a loss is not going to do anything. GSP, look at GSP. GSP is still a legend. He
Okay, look at
lost. He
Khabib.
came
Look at
back
Khabib.
and
How about
yeah.
Khabib?
But if John Jones loses to Miocic, he can still come back. Depending on how he loses to Miocic, he can still come back.
I do not see him losing to Miocic, to be very honest.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't know if John Jones loses to Miocic and Miocic announces retirement, thereby vacating the title. Does that mean that the interim champion, Tom Aspinall, is automatically the new champion, or do they have to still have or an undisputed fight
They
for the
would have to
title?
have an undisputed fight. They would so depending on the situation of things, right? So
Unification fight, sorry.
yes,
Yeah,
they will have to have a unification fight. So depending on who is available, right, and the interim might be promoted to becoming the undisputed champion, right, and they would immediately mandate him to defend it against somebody.
I understand. All right, so we have Norizuka here. He says Tom Aspinall might fight Cyril Gane as well. That should have happened. I think that was what was probably going to happen because Sergey was supposed to fight who again? Who was he supposed to
He was a
fight? I
backup
forgot.
fighter. He was a backup fighter to Jones versus Miocic.
Oh yes,
And then,
yes, 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 yes,
and Tom
yes, yes,
Aspinall
yes,
was
yes.
chasing the fight with Cyril Gane to
Yes, yes, yes,
keep
yes.
the line.
After
Yeah,
UFC Paris, right?
yeah,
There was some buzz about
yeah. He was
Tom
chasing
Aspinall.
that.
That's England versus France.
Mhm.
Yo, if Tom Aspinall fights Cyril Gane for London, Wahala Deo, it's going to be
It's
a
gonna be,
proper England versus France showcase. They
it's
should
gonna
just do
be
it in the Wembley, bro.
fireworks. But
They should do it in the
who do you think wins that one?
bro. It's hard. I think Tom Aspinall's grappling would overcome Cyril Gane's grappling because Cyril Gane has showed us nothing with the grappling. So I think I think that's the case. I think John Jones will stay and fight 2 to 3 years. I think that's the thing. If he leaves, he's leaving a lot of money. All right. Moving on. Well, the one blah blah blah. Back to the apex. When will this end? All right. Because of this question, I'm going to give a shout out to a proper shout out to our boy, Christopher Graham. Christopher Graham, he do help us a lot. He do send questions in. Every time you see us come out here, all the amazing questions you see or all the segments are all suggested by Christopher Graham. And you can too by joining our Patreon. Please feel free to join our Patreon. We are on Patreon. You can pledge any amount and support the African fighters. We would really, really appreciate you if you do that. And also, if for any reason you cannot consume our podcast in video, you could consume our podcast in audio form. Maybe when you're working out, taking a run, put us in your ear and we'll make you laugh. We'll make you feel like you're part of a conversation, I promise.
You make you happy
Yeah,
about African
yeah,
fighters.
yeah. All right, guys. Going to go back into it. All right. So, yeah. Christopher Graham says, back to the Apex next week. When will this end? Ha. Amo, I have said this before. The pandemic came with a lot of things, a lot of negatives and a lot of positives. It brought positives for the UFC because they had more people watching them. It was during the pandemic that they had one of their biggest pay-per-views ever in Yas Island, Kamaru Usman versus Masvidal one. That was 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. That is the only UFC pay-per-view that is no McGregor that crossed a million buy in forever. So, and then they had like a growth in their fan base. I would say I started taking UFC serious during the pandemic because I couldn't cut it with WWE and AEW. So that's me personally. So there's a lot of positives that happened with the empty arena event. With they stayed on track, right? But now the issue is they learned and understood that they could actually use their PI for fight nights, and now that has made them lazy in booking fight nights. Fair game, we have started seeing some fight nights are going out in different cities, but it's almost like they just do it small, 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 small. Apex doesn't give you that energy. It doesn't give you that big fight feel. I believe every fighter growing up trying to become a champion or a superstar in the UFC is not thinking about fighting in a hall like that. What draws them into trying to be a fighter is seeing thousands of people in a packed arena. You hear this from pro wrestlers. Pro wrestlers, when they ask them, when did you decide to be a wrestler? They'll be like, in 1990, so. I went and I saw Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. That was when I knew this is what I want to do. A lot of fighters will tell you, yes, I saw Anderson Silva and I thought this is what I want to do. I want to have that feel. And the Apex doesn't do that to the fighters. I understand this is going to do well for the UFC pocket because they are not going to be spending too much. But I think it's unfair to the fighters. That is, imagine. I bet you there are fighters in the UFC right now that have fought 3, 4, or even 5 times. Maybe they came in through the Dana White Contender Series and they fought in the Apex. They have never fought anywhere else but the Apex. How is that fair to them? They don't really get that adrenaline rush of like 1,000 people shouting. I mean 1,000, like thousands of people cheering on. Well, you should understand what I mean. But
But then I'm going to step in here, right?
yeah. I wanna ask you, what do you think about the Apex being used on and on and on and on again?
As much as you have been highlighting the demerits, right, there are also merits on the side of the fighters as well, using the Apex. So for example, they're able to better hear advice from their corners, right, and that actually helps to improve the performance of a lot of the fighters, right. So everything that comes with its advantages also has its disadvantages, and of course it's easier for the UFC to schedule these events back to back. It's not easy when you are into logistics. Organizing events is not it's not a child's play, right? And of course this is business here, right? I'm a businessman and I can tell you for free, like, you sell what the people want to buy, you don't sell what you want to sell. So the market wants to buy these fights, and it's easier to package these fights and sell it to the audience from the UFC Apex, and it is what it
Okay,
is.
so here's my counter argument with that. Is it not money? Is it not logistics and money, right? UFC are the right now they are in the most successful era of their time. Like the past year and the past year and the year before that, during the pandemic when they started staying in the apex, they've been grossing higher than they've ever. So pre-pandemic, pre-COVID outbreak, they were doing fight nights in big cities, in big arenas, right? What is stopping them now?
Okay,
What is
okay. So,
actually stopping
so
them?
I'll give you this right from fine. I'm a finance guy, right? So there's something when it comes to financial statements. You have the top line and you have the bottom line. You have the revenue and then you have your costs, right? So
Mm,
sometimes you might have say revenue of 10 million, right? But then in order
mhm,
to earn that revenue of 10 million, you might have spent say 8 million in order to
mhm.
earn that 10 million. But then if you are earning say 4 million, but you're spending 1 million to earn that 4 million, it's actually more profitable to you as a company because you're ending up with, a margin of 3 million, right? Whereas instead of, earning 10 million and you're spending 9 million to earn that 10 million. Does it make sense? I hope the math is mathing to you.
I
So
understand what you mean, but
honestly,
but
them
but but here's my thing.
highest
Here's my
profit.
thing. Bigger arena, bigger crowd, more ticket sales, more revenue at the gate.
Yeah, more revenue at the gate, but it costs them a lot of money to put these events together. It does cost them a
Well,
lot of money. So your operating expenses, will come and consume that revenue. So a lot of people just think about the revenue that they're earning, but then they don't think about what has the UFC spent in order to bring this event together. And as a businessman, I'd rather earn
okay.
4 million, right?
Fine, Toby. Let's
And
let's agree
maybe
to
2
disagree.
million.
Let's agree to disagree. UFC
And
are being selfish. They refuse to leave that boring
it's
as
business, my
Apex. And I'm
bro.
telling you,
It is business.
every UFC fighter, even the ones that are using the UFC PI to train their training facility in Vegas, even those guys, they don't want to fight in the Apex. They want to go and fight somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we need a balance of it. Yeah, you
Okay,
cannot.
let's have a look quickly with thoughts on Usman Nurmagomedov drug test and fallout, and the fallout from this, right? So Umar Nurmagomedov was said to have have failed some drug tests in his last fight in Bellator 300. Usman, I'm sorry, I'm saying Umar. Usman oh gosh, Nurmagomedov. Um,
The name. Remember the
yeah.
name.
Yeah, so now what happens next? Does he lose his title? Currently, at this point, they just turned the fight to a no contest. But I'm just trying to look for a publication here. But Toby, have you had a look on this? And what are your thoughts?
Well, I first of all, I want to say I feel kind of sorry for him. What I was reading, the article I was reading, except I don't have enough information, is that he took the medication for an illness, and it didn't contain
Mm-hmm.
um, any enhancing particle or whatever it is they want to call it. It was just something for his illness, and apparently it contained an element of a banned substance. And so they are saying,
Mm-hmm.
I think his representative came out and said that he feels pretty confident that they are not going to get him banned or any that they're not going to strip him of the title rather, and that he'll get back in the Grand Prix, which I feel is the best outcome for him. He gets to fight. What's
Mm-hmm.
this guy's name again? Yeah, so I feel like that's the best outcome for both parties. The other guy gets another shot at it. Usman gets to redeem himself, and I hope.
Is it only me that is not hearing Toby?
I cannot hear him. I think the
Okay,
internet
all
network
right.
took over.
Okay, so I pulled up an article here, right? So we're going to go through it together. All right, here we go, guys. It says Bellator lightweight champion Usman Nurmagomedov has been given a 6-month suspension after testing positive for banned substances. California State Athletic Commission (CSAC) confirmed his win over Brent Primus at Bellator 300 to be overturned to no contest. The 25-year-old has also been fined $50,000. Speaking on his Instagram, Primus says he appreciates that CSAC catching those cheaters. I was just informed by Andy Foster, the CSAC executive, that my last opponent for Bellator 300, Usman Nurmagomedov, failed his drug test for a banned substance. So our fight is now a no contest. That's Primus. That's the opponents that Usman fought in 300. It sucks, but I really want to thank the California Athletics Commission and Bellator for testing us all and catching those cheaters. I really appreciate it. I've been training my butt off in the gym, blah, 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 blah. And then we've got Ali Abdulaziz, who is Usman's manager. He says,
I
told
never believe the
ESPN the
word that
fighter
man
will,
says.
yeah, he says here that the fighter will not be stripped of his title, and Bellator had no comment on the news when approached by BBC Sport. I'm reading it off BBC Sport, by the way. Nurmagomedov could be removed from the lightweight Grand Prix, with Primus expected to be reinstated after losing the semi-final to the Russian. Nurmagomedov is a younger cousin to UFC legend Khabib. He was set to fight in the $1 million Grand Prix final against the winner bout between Pitbull and Shabily. CSAC also said Nurmagomedov has enrolled in voluntary drug testing as part of his suspension. Now, we know that, let me get this thing out of here. All right. So we know that the Bellator don't, there's a lot of chatter about UFC and what's the name of those guys that they were?
USADA.
USADA. Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently USADA is going to
yeah.
be done with the UFC in December. And that's when I learned that Bellator don't have uh, the drug test agencies chasing their athletes. They only get tested by the commissions of the cities that a fight is going to happen. In this case, it was California. So hence, they take a test, I believe, in fight week or on fight night. I don't know exactly which. So all right. I really, really feel like this is a very sensitive topic.
Yeah,
Obviously, nobody should.
but what I think is this, right? I think an investigation should be launched to
Mhm.
get this matter sorted, right? I do not want to believe. I like to believe that Usman, given the pedigree of the team that he comes from, is not a cheat. So there are a lot of banned substances, the list is very very long, and sometimes you could take something that contains a banned substance due to treating an illness or something, right? So let them come up with that investigation and let's see what's the outcome. And based on the outcome of the investigation, they can
Mm-hmm.
make a well-informed decision on the matter. But it won't make any sense to start, making decisions or making conclusions on the matter at the moment. It's quite sensitive.
Wait. Well, let me give a special shout out to Christopher Graham. He's in the comments. And also, Temba was making a remark regarding the travel. He said, it's more costly to travel, bro. Look, there is 9 shows in 2024 at the Apex from my hearing. 9 shows, that's significantly lower than before, right? Because last year was like week in, week out. There was a Apex show.
It's a lot.
Um,
The costs are a lot. The operating cost is a lot. So you
Well,
rather
yeah, to be
get
honest,
fine.
with the way the UFC work is like independent fight contractors, right? Independent contractors when they hire their fighters. So you would care for your traveling, you pack if you are bringing your team, your corner guys, trainers, coaches, blah 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 blah. You have to fly them in. It's all in your pocket. That's why you have to win so you can get your win bonus, your win money. All right, Temba says you listen to Ali too much, Toby.
He
Those
did
Russians.
what I said. I don't believe a word
Those
Ali says.
those Russians are on a sauce. Even
Oh,
Islam was once
gee.
caught. Well, I think there was chatter with Islam in when they went to fight
Australia,
Australia when he was
then
fighting
Hoopla.
Volkanovski the first time.
Yeah,
Apparently, he was on some uh, what was that thing? Those drip.
IV,
What did
an
they put?
IV, yeah, an IV injection.
IV. Yeah. And Ali tried to defend him on Twitter, but then deleted the tweet. All right. That is it. Um. All right. One final question, guys. Which fights are we looking forward to next week? I will go to Toby first. Toby, I'm going to you because I see you are moving. No, he's not moving. Oh, yeah, he's moving. Okay. Toby, your connection is shite again. We cannot hear you. So go and sort yourself out. Demola, which fights are you looking up to next week?
Okay, I think two fights are I'm quite excited about. The main event, that's
Mm,
Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig, right? I think Paul Craig
mm-hmm,
won his last fight, and I know he is a submission specialist. I think he was the last person that beat Jamal Hill, if I'm
mm-hmm.
not mistaken. And then I'm looking forward to Chase Hooper versus Jordan Leavitt. Chase Hooper, I've been following his career, since when he came into the UFC as a very young chap, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he is maturing into the lightweight division. I expect really great things from that guy. So Chase Hooper, I'm looking to forward to his fight.
Well, me, I am looking forward to our Niger brother, Rafion Super Stotts. He's going to be fighting Danny Sabatello for the second time. The first fight was a bit of a snooze fest when it comes to wrestling because Sabatello was just doing wrestling and then putting no damage, and then he lost the fight, and then he was crying, and then he left the cage. All right, so if you don't know who Danny Sabatello is, he is sort of like the Conor McGregor, sorry, the Colby Covington of Bellator. He's all-American wrestler that he is going to give you chain wrestling, constantly wrestle you, but he has pillow fists. Not that I'm saying Colby Covington has pillow fist. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying saying that Sabatello talks too much. He tries to play the character of a heel. He talks a lot of crap. Last year when they were doing the Bellator Grand Prix for I think lightweights and Stotts was paired up against Danny Sabatello. They were going around touring, going to different podcasts and and they were
Stotts is
talking
in
trash to each other.
bantamweight, not so?
Was it bantamweight? Is it a
Yes.
bantamweight? I can't remember.
Yes.
I can't remember. I'm
Stotts is
sorry.
in bantamweight.
Yeah, so that is the fight that I am looking forward to. Ah, Omo. Temba say it's not Ivy. Google it. That was way before he was champion. He said Islam was caught positive for actual steroids. Shit. Okay,
We
okay.
need to do our research. We need to do our research.
This
Thank you, Themba.
this is not something to be surprised about because if you look at it right now, Russia is not in the Olympics. You will never see Russian flag in the Olympics. It's not because of the war with Ukraine. It's because of doping. Literally, their Olympic government body are literally doping their athletes on purpose. There's a big documentary on Netflix if you'd want to see it. They literally have a lab where they dope people so
That's
they
wild.
cannot get caught.
That is
Like
wild.
they have like mastered the science. So I wouldn't be surprised, not that I'm saying that they've done it, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the I don't want to say the Dagestanis do, but if Islam was caught with it and he's Russian, I'm not surprised. To be
I need
honest,
to
I'm
go
not
to
surprised.
Russia to learn some lessons.
Yes, you need to go to Russia so you can get some PEDs so you can be
I just want to
running
learn.
in.
I just want to learn.
No, I know what you want to do. You want to get PED and be running in the bedroom, Abi.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
You want performance enhancement in your bed. Okay.
Let's see about that.
All right. Toby, you haven't told us the fights that you're excited about next week. Oh God, Toby. All right, guys. We cannot hear you, Toby. Get out of here with your
He's excited
stupid
about
internet.
Dambi and Senegalese
Um.
wrestling Lutz.
Oh no, we were not, were we? All right, let's go. And the final segment, guys. This is called Missed Fists. It's a mouthful, but Missed Fists. But as the name stated, this is where uh, we are going to be talking about fighters that had fought that we did not see. Okay, guys. First of all, let me just put it in a bigger screen. and take our faces off there. The missed fights, or the fights that we missed this year, this past couple of weeks. The first one is Wilker Nsamo. So Wilker Nsamo defeated David Rodrigues for the vacant Bushido Fight Series featherweight title. He won by KO in the first round in Brazil. That happened on the 21st of October 2023. So that was like about 2 weeks ago. Shout out to Wilker Nsamo. All right, guys. So the next is Nabil Haryouli from Morocco. All right, Nabil Haryouli defeated Shamil Uvaisov by a brutal TKO. It was a ground and pound that looked very, very horrible. You can see from the picture here. And that was at Hexagon MMA 12 in Netherlands. That was on the 28th of October as well. So that was 2 weeks ago. Shout out to Nabil Haryouli. You could put an eye out for this guy. All right. Next, we have Ayadi Majdeddin from Tunisia. All right. Tunisia's Ayadi Majdeddin, he defeated Quinton McCottrell by submission due to a rear naked choke on 2 minutes 38 seconds of the first round. So this happened in CFC 11 in California, and that was on 11 of 11, which was last night. So shout out to Ayadi Majadin. I'm so sorry, Ayadi from Tunisia, an African brother. All right, so we move into the boxing side of things. We have from Senegal, Souleymane Sissoko. He defeated Isaiah Lucero in a 12th rounder to defend the WBC silver welterweight title. Matchroom boxing in Monaco. This happened earlier this week, actually just a week ago. So shout out to Souleymane Sissoko from Senegal. And last but not least, redemption for Ramla Ali, Somalia's own and British boxer Ramla Ali. Earlier this year, she lost to Alejandra Guzman via knockout, which was very devastating for her. But she put her shit together, bite her mouthpiece, puts a spectacular boxing performance, and went through 10-round decision for matchroom boxing, also in Monaco. All right, guys. Shout out to Christopher Graham for putting this list together, and shout out to Toby. Shout out to Toby for putting the graphics together. I'm just going to give you credit here, Toby. You put the graphic together. Christopher Graham put the list together. So this is a segment that we are going to be continuing about African fighters that we missed. All right. Oh, fights also happened in the EFC. I think we would put those together for you guys next week. And yeah. All right. You guys got reaction with regards to the missed fights where we miss. I think I'm going to change that segment to fight where we miss. What do you think, Demola?
I don't think anything.
Yes,
Let's
I think we are going to
that
call.
way. It's a tongue twister, misfits. You know, if you
Yeah,
can say misfits without missing it 10 times, I'll give you 10,000.
Missed fist. So we are
No,
going to change the name
no 10,000
to
naira for
fights.
you. Toby, are you gonna try
Wait,
it?
wait. We are going to Toby. No, they hear you. His connection is bad. We are going to change it to fights where we miss. So from next week, this segment is going to be called Fights Where We Miss.
Okay.
All right, peoples. Toby's face is going to stick out there. Shout out to the people in the comment section. Thank you very much for sticking with us today. Today we finished early. Really. This was a sweet one. Thank you, Demola, for joining us. And Demola, if you would want to plug your podcast again, please feel free to do that.
Okay, so we're going to be publishing a podcast during the week, right? And please listen to the Kingdoms podcast coming to you soon. It is really going to be great. Thank you. Cheers.
Demola, your podcast, is it about MMA or is it
It's
about general life
uh,
stuff and life
okay. The
experience?
King Games podcast is about sharing the stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So we're all about inspiring people. We talk to people,
And
professional.
how can people get to your podcast? Where can they find it?
Okay, so it's going to be on YouTube and Spotify.
Oh, okay. So you've recorded your first episode, but you
Yes,
haven't put
we
it out
recorded
yet.
the first episode.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
be
All right. So
yeah,
we will
muted.
keep you guys updated with where my Demola's podcast would be and all the links. We probably will share it here as well. All right. Shout out to you guys in the comment section. Thank you, Temba, the answer Gorimbo. We really, really appreciate you as always. Christopher Graham and
Shout
Noziruka.
out Themba.
Norizuka, thank you very much. This has been me, Jibril, and that is King Demola. And ladies and gentlemen, wait. I have to cue in my outro video. Hey, where's this video now? Okay, found it. I'll do this again. All right, guys. I remain JB, and that's Demola, and we are out.